Get ready, Novas Nation. The countdown is on. The Supernovas return to the court this January with team captain Brooke Nuneviller and returning Huskers Merritt Beeson and GM John Cook. This season promises to be bigger, louder, and more electrifying than ever with world-class professional volleyball lighting up Omaha. Season tickets keep you at the center of every moment with the best fans in pro volleyball. Secure your seats today at supernovas.com.
Hello and welcome to Volleyball State, a look at the sport of volleyball in 6 rotations and a proud part of the I-80 Club. I'm Lincoln Arneal, and we got a special show. We got no Jeff Sheldon this week.
Dang! He's my favorite one on the show. Crap. Yes.
So this will either be your favorite episode or maybe your least favorite episode, depending on which side of the Volleyball State aisle you fall upon. But
I'm a Jeff guy. I gotta admit, right. I'm a Jeff guy.
I don't blame you for that. Jeff's in Chicago enjoying some rugby. So we are joined by the I-80 Club podfather, Jack Mitchell.
What's up? I'm very excited. I don't know, Lincoln, I was trying to remember when it was that me, you, Jeff sat in a coffee shop in downtown Lincoln and conceived of the idea of this podcast, of this show. It was a few years ago.
Yeah, it's been
maybe
2.5 years, maybe.
Well, it was right. Actually, it was right around the Memorial Stadium match, right?
Yeah, it was.
And so it was my first chance to be on it. So thanks for having me.
Yes, Jack's joining us today. So we are going to talk about how it was business as usual for the Huskers, who picked up their 12th and 13th straight sweep. But the rest of the volleyball world has fallen into a pit of chaos. Chaos indeed. So we'll give a quick breakdown of the rotations here. We're going to start off rotation 1 will be recap of the Wisconsin match. Then we will move to rotation 2, a recap of the Oregon match. Rotation 3, we'll talk some big picture talk with about the Huskers. Then we'll get into the chaos in rotation 4, the national recap. Rotation 5, we'll do the Big Ten. Then rotation 6, we will close up as always by looking at a week ahead, talking about Minnesota, Illinois, and Minnesota. So before we get to that, I want to thank our good partners and friends at Alumni Hall. This show and all of our shows this fall are sponsored by Alumni Hall. They got 2 locations. They're down at South Point Pavilions and also at downtown Lincoln at 11th and P. They just got so much volleyball merch. The weather's changed. You need some long sleeve stuff. They got men's Cutter and Buck fleece half zip. They got the Charlie Hustle script long sleeve hoodie.
Nice.
They got all sorts of stuff for you.
Nice.
And we can help you out too, because listeners of our show are going to save 15% on all of their Husker apparel at Alumni Hall. Just mention Volleyball State in the store to save 15%. Or if you're shopping online at alumnihall.com, use a promo code Volleyball State, all one word with no spaces. Get hooked up with Alumni Hall, some great Husker merch. And the holidays are coming up too. Now we're officially in November. We can now think about any holiday presents, Christmas presents, whatever you need to buy. My birthday's coming up too, so
there you go. I give away Alumni Hall stuff on my radio show every week. Fantasy Huskers, if I can cross promote on this podcast platform that I own, I'd like to cross promote my own radio show. So,
yes, for sure. Well, good. Well, we figured since we're doing this out without Jeff Sheldon, just the 2 of us couldn't handle us. So we have a special guest this week as well, too. We are joined by Amie Just of the Lincoln Journal-Star, who is a columnist, can write about any sport that's under the sun. So Amy's written about rifle. She's written about, I think you wrote about every single Nebraska sport last year, bowling, but she writes a lot about Nebraska volleyball too. So Amie, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this exciting Sunday.
Thanks for having me. It's been a super chaotic week, but we survived. I actually had time to go to yoga today, which thank God for that.
Me too. So.
Jack, what's your favorite yoga position?
The dog one, the dog related. There's a dog, or at least it's at least a dog adjacent, as far as I know. I don't know. I'm kind of in a freestyle yoga class. It's a little different philosophy. It's just like, whatever you want to do. So, and I teach, and I'm the only one in it. So, and it's also just sitting on the couch. But anyway, yeah, I enjoyed that too, and watching Red Zone. Anyhow, I had a great day of yoga.
Couch yoga is amazing. So, Amie, thanks for joining us. Amie's going to be
Yes.
with us for a couple rotations here. We are going to start off rotation 1, Nebraska versus Wisconsin on Friday night. Hopefully all of our volleyball state listeners, if you want a more deep analysis, and if you missed Jeff and I recorded about 20-25 minutes Friday night immediately after the match. But want to get some high-level thoughts initially, just right off the bat. Nebraska swept Wisconsin 25-22, 25-19, 25-13. Really, I mean, the first set was competitive, but the second two were, I mean, not really too. Amie, I'll start with you. What was your kind of high-level takeaway from this match too? What was your kind of the reason that Nebraska was able to handle Wisconsin as they did?
It comes down to Bergen.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, they did not pass great. They weren't serving as tough as they have, right? Meanwhile, Wisconsin was serving them so tough, especially Natalie Wardlow. Go Knights. But yeah, when you don't pass to the caliber that you hold yourself to,
Mm-hmm.
that's where there's a difference between good setters and elite setters. And Bergen assisted at 38 of Nebraska's 48 kills. And of course, she had 3 of her own, so she can't really assist herself. So, it comes down to Bergen, really.
Yeah. To back up that, I mean, the numbers, I agree with you. I mean, Nebraska passed a 206 against Wisconsin, one of their season lows. I know they passed a 205 once this year. Lainey Choboy was under 2 on the 3-point scale. Olivia Mack probably had one of her worst passing ones at 171. Harper Murray was okay, 2.5. Sigler was at 2, and Lanford was at 2.75. But yeah, Nebraska was a 47% good pass rate compared to Wisconsin, who passed a 2.32 and had a 66 good pass percentage. But I think that, I mean, yeah, it shows the job that Bergen Riley did. Jack, I mean, do you feel like this was the match that Bergen Riley inserted her name into the player of the year conversation?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was probably already there, but it's, I mean, it's like just to even think where we went at the end of last year with that Penn State match, and she had her critics, right? Like you know that even better than I do.
Mm-hmm.
But man, as she come back, I mean, we came into the beginning of the year and there were some people asking, right? She going to be the one here? And as Amie pointed out and you pointed out, like that was kind of like the quintessential match for her there. And then, it was just a lot of the typical stuff. We'll talk about this later, but it's just like, I don't know, you outblock them, like 9 to, what was it? 9.5 to 3, that kind of stuff. And it's just, it wasn't, I mean, at some point, and then what always happens with these, and it happened, we'll talk about this with Oregon, but yeah, there's energy at the beginning in the first set, but man, this team wears you down. Nebraska wears you down, and they definitely did today, and I thought they definitely did with Wisconsin as well.
For sure. I think, I mean, to go with some other stats too, I mean, Harper Murray had 15 kills. That was a pretty typical Harper Murray match, and it was kind of fun to watch her and Mimi Collier go back and forth and who can outslug the other person. But the other key to me, I think this, again, may go back. I mean, the whole match kind of revolves around Bergen when you're the setter. But the next 3 hitters, Andy Jackson, Rebecca Alec, and Taylor Landfair, all had 0 hitting errors. I mean, they combined for, was it 25 kills on 45 swings. So when you get that level of production from your second, third, and fourth hitters, it's tough to beat too. Amie, what does Bergen do out there that impresses you the most too? I mean, we talk about what she's good, but what do you think what does she do to help her hitters out?
Number one, she believes in them.
Mm-hmm.
So even if someone hits wide or misses hands and goes long or just gets blocked, right? She's not going to shy away from them.
Mm-hmm.
You see that time and time again where she will go back to somebody who's been stuffed or had an error. So I think that is really important, but also she is such a calming presence on the floor. She keeps it pretty even keel, good, bad, ugly, elite, everything in between. And I think there's a lot to be said for that, even though that doesn't show up on a box score.
Yeah. It wasn't, I mean, we mentioned the first set was a little bit close. I mean, it was 23-22. Rebecca Alec had a big kill. And then the last point of that first set, I thought was one of my favorite ones of the match too, because it was just Harper unloading, Mimi Collier unloading until Harper finally won that battle too. And the second set was also 4-4. And then all of a sudden Nebraska's up 15-7. And then third set really wasn't that competitive because Harper Murray had a 6-0 run. Laney Choboy had a 6-0 run. And the 13 points that Wisconsin scored was actually the lowest since the beginning of the 24 season, when they only scored 11 against Texas too. Jack, how did it feel when you were watching the match too? You mentioned that Nebraska kind of wears you down too. Where did you see that show up?
Well, first of all, it was interesting because like sometimes I feel like they use and again, we're going to talk about Oregon in a second, but like they use Harper Murray in small doses, right? Mm-hmm. Like and I don't know what I guess I have the box score up here, but it felt like she had a lot more attempts in this 45. Match. Like sometimes it's like, man, for being who she is, Harper Murray right now, sometimes it feels like they use her just, kind of when they need her, but it feels like it was kind of the volume that she was involved in this one. And by the end, I don't know how the hitting percentage broke down by the different sets, but it felt like by the end, it was like, it really, I think that was a big part of it as well. And back to your conversation on Bergen Riley too, the thing that I noticed at the beginning of this season was, and I know you and Jeff have talked about this when I've listened to you, is that they're just sort of like, they're just different sort of, and I don't know what even the right nomenclature is, but like different route patterns, right? There's more complex, sort of movements and stuff that goes on with some of the sets. I think that's helped her, to be honest. It just seems like a more dynamic sort of plan for the setter during the DBK era. So that's another thing for that.
I agree with that.
Yes, that is a correct assumption. And they're doing, it's not just routes at the net. Like they are setting back row hitters way more this season than they had before, at least since I've been here.
Yeah.
Well, one of my favorite wrinkles too, I think we saw it a little bit today against Oregon, but is when they run Virginia Adriano up the middle too. I mean, yeah, she gets stuck kind of on the right pin too, but I think she's a lot more dynamic when she has the full court to work in front of her, and the block's not necessarily on top of her at the middle of the court as well too. So I agree, Jack. It's a different too. I mean, I saw someone in my replies ask this, and also both of you too. I mean, what has led to Bergen's elevation? I mean, is it working with DBK? Is it Campbell Flynn's present to kind of push her, or a combination of the both? Amie, what do you kind of attribute this rise in her play to?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of all of it. I think DBK knows what she's doing, not that the previous staff didn't, right? But she's setting just a little bit faster too than she did last season. And I think that has been able to free her up and just let her play to the level that we know that she can. It just felt like, I don't know, the past couple of years, she was great, but whatever has happened behind closed doors has allowed her to become elite this season.
Yeah. We are going to mention the F word on this too, but I mean, it's kind of like, everyone has their favorite person on campus is always the backup quarterback too. And so I think Campbell Flynn, very talented on her own, brings a lot to the table too. But Jack, how much do you think that having a person behind her has pushed Bergen to elevate her game?
Yeah. Yes, 100% it has. And it was, I can't remember what, I think it was, I don't know if it was you or it was Baylor I had on my radio show. And I asked I was almost kind of like comparing the Nebraska volleyball team to the Nebraska football team, fair or not. But I was, when it was after the Minnesota game, right. And like getting up for that game. And I asked the question, and I was basically like, hey, like, what is it with this volleyball team where, and we've seen, obviously they're on a streak of beating teams they're massively favored against, right? But doing it consistently. every night. And the answer to what it might have been, I can't remember if it was you or Baylor, but the answer was essentially every single person's got somebody behind them, pushing them, right? Like basically everyone, and that's true outside of Harper. But other than that, like really everybody, I mean, you got the Malk and the Laney Choboy situation, right? You got plenty of hitters, right? You've got, as you were talking about there, the setters as well. Like every single situation, you've got someone who's pushing the person in front of them. And I think that like it's interesting because the whole year coming into the year, we're like, man, how are they going to keep everybody happy, right? How they got such a big team. How are they going to play everyone? And almost like it was a disadvantage in a little bit, but I think that's turned out to be an advantage because I think that's part of and the other thing with Bergen, by the way, is just like it's another year, right? It's another she's a year older. She's played again. You had another year with the hitters she's been playing with Landfair, Alec, Andy Jackson, Harper. Like you start to just get some, I'm sure there's some level of knowing where they're going to be just in your head, right? That builds cumulatively over that time of being a setter.
For sure. We talked to Kelly. I was actually in Madison, so I talked to Kelly Sheffield. One of his quotes that he said I thought was really great. He called Bergen Riley the best player in the conference as Mimi Collier is sitting 5 feet away from him. So, I mean, very complimentary, very high praise from Kelly Sheffield. He also called Nebraska currently the best team in the country right now, and with what we saw from the landscape this weekend, it's hard to argue with.
Bold comment, but take it down, Kelly. You know, we don't know. Wow.
Just to mention Wisconsin a little bit, Mimi Collier did have 14 kills, but she only hit 239. I think it was the third out of the last 4 matches she's played where she's been under 250. Grace Egan working her way back from an injury. I thought she was one of the more effective attackers for the Badgers. 9 kills, hit 471. And then their middles really aren't a high priority offensively, but the most telling stat for me was Carter Booth. All 6'7" of her had 0 blocks. I think, and I want to get back to this too, but Amie mentioned this earlier. To me, the other highlight of Wisconsin was Natalie Wardlow, freshman from Lincoln Southeast. 4 aces I was the only 4 that Wisconsin recorded in the entire match too. What did you all take away from Wisconsin? Wisconsin had kind of been built up this year as one of the biggest challenges they were second place in the conference coming into this. What did you take away from Wisconsin's level of play, Amie?
Yeah, I think that they're doing the best with what they can.
Yeah.
Right now, like you lose a setter, it's so hard.
Yeah,
it's so hard, and Addie did a great job, right? But it's just, Nebraska football is going to be like that for the rest of the road here. Like what it's like when you lose your starting quarterback, because that's what a setter is. And I think that Wisconsin is still a very good team. They're a really tough test for anybody on any night. And I just think Nebraska is just that much better than everybody right now, but it definitely doesn't help Wisconsin's cause that they're not at, full strength.
Yeah. And I don't know if Charlie Furbringer is going to be back this year. From the people I talked to when I was up there, she's practicing, but she can't put any pressure on her shoulder that she injured. So she could set, no problem, but it's when the blocks come, or if she has to pick herself off the ground, it doesn't have a lot of strength in her shoulder right now too. So I don't know. There's a month left of the regular season if we're going to see her back by then too. But Jack, what was your
I would link it. I wanted to know from you. It was exactly what Amie brought up with Furbringer, and I'm looking at when did she go down? When was she out?
Beginning of October. It's against the Michigan match.
It was that Michigan match. And so at that point they had lost, as I'm looking at this, they had only lost to Texas at that point, right? And they were on a string of sweeps, right? Beat Florida, swept Rutgers, Iowa, Illinois, Michigan in that match where she got hurt, and then they lose to Penn State right after she gets hurt. At that point, since then they've lost 3-1 to USC. They got swept by Nebraska. I guess there's just the 2 losses since. So like they had a better. Actually, they've weathered the storm better than I even realized. But I'm curious how different do you think that team is without her this year?
Yeah, it's just I think she came in Addie Horner, she's a freshman, so she doesn't have a lot of prior existing relationship. We talk about the relationship that Bergen has with her hitters year after year. You're coming in mid-year. I mean, she was not expecting to be a full-time setter, so she didn't spend a lot of time probably working with, I think that the middle blockers especially. I mean, anybody could set Mimi Collier, I think that, I mean, you put it up there, she's going to hammer it home. So to me, it's the connection. She looks like she belongs out there, looks comfortable in the Big Ten level, but it's just, it's a difference between a good setter, a very good setter, and a great setter, which Charlie Furbringer was an elite setter that, I mean, she was All-American as a freshman. So it's tough for Wisconsin, and they're making the best of a tough situation for them. But the other thing I was going to mention too, I mean, it was kind of cool. They talked a lot about Natalie Wardlow too. I mean, Lincoln Southeast. I don't know how much she was recruited by Nebraska, because when she committed to Wisconsin, Nebraska's middle blocker situation was a very different picture. Jackson and Alec were on the team. Maggie Mendelson was still here, and they also had a commitment from Aiden Ames, who was a year ahead of her. So they were not planning to take any middle blockers at that time, but between the Mendelson transfer and Ames flipped, it opened up a spot. That's where Manaya Obeche came in, and then Kenna Kogel was a late commitment. I think she was kind of an addition because the scholarship limits increased too. So it was really cool for her. Sometimes you play against a hometown team.
I didn't realize my own ignorance, but I didn't realize that they had a Lincoln Southeast player on their roster. Like,
how dare you?
I know, right?
How dare you?
It is,
Go
but,
Knights.
But it is interesting. This is going to get us into a whole situation, but kind of like the Lincoln Class A volleyball thing, right? Like, we got players from Milford, Lincoln Lutheran, Norris, Waverly, right? It's almost surprising to hear of a Class A Lincoln player, right, show up on one of these rosters in some ways. So
there was one last week too.
Yeah, Michigan State, Malaya Long, who's out there running the show for the Spartans at setter, starting setter as a redshirt freshman too. So there's you can't, every roster seems has to have at least one Nebraskan on. Almost, it feels like.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Long as Lincoln Southwest for the record.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. And what is it? Pitt at Mallory Meyer, like she was at East, right?
Yeah.
But transferred to Norris. It's like you have this whole like Class A. I mean, Becca Alec did it, right? North Star to Waverly. Crazy.
That's a crazy.
No other sport is anything like that.
No.
In high school sports.
Yeah, it's a great week. You want to see a lot of future talent playing Division I. This week is the start of the high school state tournament. Will be in Lincoln at PBA. And I think the Devaney Center for John Cook Arena for the final. So, all right. Any other thoughts about Wisconsin Badgers? Great. All right. Well, let's move on to today's match. Nebraska in rotation 2. Nebraska takes care of Oregon 21, 20, and 12. The first opponent to score more than 20 points twice in a match since. Trivia question. Do you know?
I do.
Oh, Amy, go Amy. What do you got?
Go, Amy.
It's Creighton.
Yeah, it's Creighton. I know you did this research.
I thought it was of the sweeps. I thought you were saying.
That hasn't happened.
Okay. I didn't think so, but I thought that's what you were talking about. No. I knew it was 5 had scored 20 or more. There were 5 sets with 20 or more coming into the Wisconsin match. So I did know that.
Wisconsin got 1 and Oregon got 2. But I was really impressed. I kind of watched Oregon play this year too, and you see it on TV how hard they hit and how aggressively they serve. But to see it in real life was cool to see. I mean, Oregon had a complete roster flip. They're rebuilding. They had 1 defensive specialist who played with them last year, so it's kind of cool what Trent Kirsten's been able to do. Nebraska hit 405, another match where their hitting percentage just is up as who they do. And so Amy, you were there, you were able to pay attention to most of the match too. What was your impression of the Ducks?
I love how hard they hit and how aggressive they are. I love it. You don't see that like super often. It's just, I don't know. I love it. I think some of that has to do with just like the roster construction that they have, right? But I had fun for sets 1 and 3 that I got to watch.
There's only some minor injury news that you had to break during the second set, but other than that, it was great too. But Jack, what was your impression of Oregon? What do you think?
I always think of Indiana as the team in the Big Ten who's the crazy serving team that you're gonna have. But the match starts right off the bat, right?
Yeah.
And Oregon, what was it? 3-1 or 3-0?
Yeah, because it was an overpass on the first one.
It was an overpass and an ace, right?
Yeah.
On the first 2 points, and I was like, wow, is Oregon the new Indiana when it comes to serving? And so there was that. And then my other takeaway is, and I'm looking at the box score right now, and Clemente did not have, she ended up only hitting 77, but like you can see, like, man, she is gonna be a star, right? Am I wrong? You guys can tell me if I'm wrong.
You're right.
I'm just looking at athleticism.
Yeah. For sure.
Holy freaking crap. Like, she's gonna be insane. After
I think
a few years.
Right now she's my pick for the freshman of the year too. I mean, there's so many good freshmen too, but I think she just has a little more opportunity, and just like you said, that freak athleticism that she can hit front row, back row, and also has a wicked jump serve as well too. So
yes, add that. Yeah, she is gonna be. We'll be talking about her a lot. Like that's pretty freaking impressive. Matt Ulmer leaves and pretty proud program already, and they had to restock a ton to get that much young talent in there. I was looking at the record. I looked at the record during the match, and I was like, wow, it's not as good as I thought it was based on what I saw from them. Basically.
Yeah.
Oregon, I mean, end up hitting, like you said, Clemente finished with 9 kills too. They had 5 aces by a 4 different players had aces, but they also had 13 service errors, which is kind of
later. Those came later. I mean, it was another one where they just wore down,
Yeah, for sure too. So just quick recap. I mean, it was 18-18 in the first set too, before Nebraska kind of really put his foot down. Adriano had a kill, Sigler had an ace. And to me, it changed. The whole match changed in the late part of that first set too. Harper Murray she got out there on a Clemente kill. She didn't block it, but she forced Clemente to change the angle that she wanted to hit, and she hit it a little bit too much cross court and went out of bounds. And then a couple plays later, Murray had a solo stuff that made her 24-21.
So loud.
That was a play of the match, right? Like, it was just, even I'm watching on TV, right? And she gets that solo stuff there, and that felt like the turning point of the whole match to me, to be honest. And like, she kind of walked away, and there was even a look on her face. It was like, you're young, right? Like, I mean, that was the look on her face when she walked away from that one.
And Amie, you asked her about her in the press conference too. What was your takeaway from that?
Yeah, I mean, she said it herself. She needed it. We all say that it's the turning point of the match, but she said it was for her too.
Yeah.
So,
because I mean, like, I think the way that Oregon runs a little bit faster offense, and Clemente is such an athlete that she can jump quickly, that Harper really had to kind of adjust her speed settings to get out, to make it a point to get out there, and that really kind of put a bottle on that too. And the second set, it was 17-16 Oregon, a 5-0 run by Nebraska. You had a Rebecca Alec kill. Alec and Adriano had a teamed up for a block, and then Adriano had a kill, and then 2 Oregon hitting airs too by Valle, and that pretty much was that. So, but I think then you see the third set, what I call the soul
service errors.
So a lot of service errors too. I mean, it was as close as 13-9. Then Nebraska's like, we're done here. We're done here. Amie, when Nebraska turns onto that mode of we're done here, what do you see from them to kind of take over their ability to take over a match? What's the difference?
I sound like a broken record. Bergen.
She's
just, you can tell that she's ready to be done.
Yeah.
And like, I think that and I don't have the stats in front of me, but I feel like she gets more aggressive as matches go on.
Like, she's got a dinner reservation, you mean? Like,
yeah, kind of something like that. She's like, all right, let's go. I'm ready to be done.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the play last week too, when the 7 players on the court too, they were going back and forth, and Bergen's like, "What are we doing here? There's 7 players," and then that's when she again had to kill herself too. Like it's like when she makes up her mind that we're done here. Is like, I'm gonna take this in my own hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She had some good blocks tonight too, by the way. Like today, and I think that Wisconsin match too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like she's been I've been impressed with her defense. We talked about her earlier in the show, but like her defense has been really good this year too, I think.
Yeah. The other significant stat, I think Taylor Landfair actually led Nebraska. She had 10 kills.
Yes. Yes, that's huge.
She had 10 kills, 2 errors, 20 swings. She had a lot of swings compared to, I think, Nebraska, for as out of system as they were dealing with Oregon serving, that it was fairly even distribution as far as hits, maybe a little bit less on the middles than other matches. But Landfair is the first non-Harper Murray pin hitter to finish in double-digit figures since Michigan. I mean, Adriano had 10 kills then too. So she's had, I think, very good matches as well since then. I mean, I think I looked this up, wrote this in my story too. Like she's hitting above high 300s in the past, I think 6 matches with only 8 hitting errors during all of that time too. What I mean, Amie, what's the key to get to unlock Taylor? I mean, Bergen's the answer, right? Bergen's the answer to get Taylor Landfair unlocked too. But is there anything that she's doing that you've noticed?
I think that since she came back after that like brief injury, I think she's just been playing a lot more free. And I think you saw that today.
Is that a mentality shift, or kind of I'm halfway through my actual last year of volleyball that or did the injury scare her? I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It like when it for a while with her, it felt like when she was having success, it was kind of, and I hope I use nomenclature that is not completely, it was kind of it was the change up, right? It was the weird angle, right? It was all of that. It feels like she's having more success on more traditional attacks, right? More straight up power attacks instead of like one of the things I think she's done well throughout the entirety of her time here, and especially during the beginning of this year, was just kind of like, using her angles, right? And doing that sort of thing. But I feel like she's had, and I don't have the numbers for these obviously, but like, I feel like she's just had more success on more traditional kind of power attacks, frankly. And that's been significant. There's probably a lot that plays into that, but man, if she is going to get this, like if Taylor Landfair is going to come in and hit, 400 with 10 kills, like I don't know what people are like that's a real bad news for everyone else.
Yeah. I was just looking this up too. Prior to, she flipped late to Oregon after the coaching switch too, but Clemente was committed to Rutgers.
Wow.
Imagine a world where she's playing for.
Where's she from?
She's from California, which I think, which is where Kirsten came from. He was down in the WCC. So, so he's familiar with that territory and got a power job and say, hey, on the West Coast playing the Big
She's
Ten.
impressive. She is impressive.
Sure.
Yeah,
for sure. All right. Any other thoughts about Oregon that you wanted to get out there?
No errors for Harper Murray.
Oh, yeah. Back to her bit where she was on it was a 3 or 4 match streak with at least two matches where she back-to-back errors. So
it was interesting to have a match where, and let's say, looking at the numbers right now, like, there were moments, but neither of the middles were.
Both had 5 kills.
It wasn't really gaudy for either of my guesses. It usually feels like one of them is kind of having a gaudy night, and neither of them did. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, but I think when you have, Adriano had another really good match. And we mentioned she had a little bit slow first set against Wisconsin with 2 errors and 4 attacks, no kills in that first set. But really, since then, she was really good. She had 5 kills on 8 attacks the rest of the way against Wisconsin, and another really good match. Another good match. Where do I have it? No, I don't have it. Against Oregon as well too. So it's good to get her. I think everyone's maybe worried about her because her confidence seems to come and go if she gets on a bad streak. But
One other thing, Dad, is it'll be interesting to see what they do with this Choboy Malk thing at libero. What do you guys think about that?
Number one off the top, I love how when the officials called her pancake down,
oh god,
how mad she was. She's like, "We're challenging that."
She went beeline to Danny and said, "No, we're challenging that."
That's so funny.
And she was right.
On TV. It was hilarious. Yes, on TV we had our view from behind, and like right away, immediately to her, to Danny, to the ref, to each, and then stopped for a while, and then again telling them and go again. Which
like, even while they were looking at it, she's like shaking her finger.
Yeah, I know, and I think that's like, I don't know, like you guys will have to tell me. Like, is that part of the reason why she's wearing that jersey right now?
I think so. I mean, I think, yeah, she adds that swagger to that position too. I mean, John Cook always liked to say when Laney's on the court, it gets you an extra point or two per set just because of her confidence and her aggression and her athleticism. So you point to Malk that she's a better passer, but I mean, for as much as Choboy struggled against Wisconsin, Choboy had better passing statistics than Malk. So
really,
yeah. So I think Laney's gotten better as the season gone on, and teams are targeting her, and she thrived under that too. So I kind of like the setup that they had when Malk was playing there because it freed Choboy up to make more plays. But this has been working for Nebraska too. It's hard to argue with it. So what do you think, Amie?
Yeah, I mean, you ride the hot hand there, right? We've talked about this. When you have almost an embarrassment of riches at positions, you have to be creative. And Danny has said it time and time again that they're both going to play. They're both going to be on the floor. The roles are a little different, but we need them both. And I think that that's the right approach. And whoever wears the different colored jersey is who's ever passing better and who's ever, adding that X factor for the Black Shorts.
How do you guys think? I mean, that was the whole thing about this season. This is like a microcosm of that, but like
we're gonna move in.
Not enough minutes. 3. Yeah, we're late.
We're going to rotation 3 now. We're big picture. Ask your question.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Jack.
I will ask. We're in rotation. Okay, good.
Yeah,
I can still ask the same question I wanted to ask. And bigger picture about Nebraska. Like, and my question is essentially like you came into the season, and one of the things you asked was, are there enough minutes? Is there going to be kind of an internal tension, right, with this team because players aren't on the court and want to be because you've got such ridiculous depth in this whole thing, and like that whole libero not libero thing is a microcosm of that. That in terms of results has not been a problem. I'm not behind closed doors, but like, how do you guys think that has been successful, if it has been so far?
It's a mindset thing. Danny's talked about that. One of their mantras this year is a banner, not a name. Like I'm not going to say they don't care. They care. They don't care about All-Americans as much as they want, to win a national championship. Like that's more important to them. And so however they have to get there, whether that's doing creative things like playing Torreya in the back row, right? And having Taylor in the front row, or, rotating between your opposite hitters when, each of them needs a minute, or when you bring in, the game changers in the third set when things are, going so far in Nebraska's, favor. So however you get there is however you get there. And I think that everybody on this roster that we know of, right, has bought into that because they all are competitive people. And at the end of the day, they want to win a national championship and they will make the sacrifices necessary to do so.
Yeah. I think that they are burned by the history too. It's kind of set that up too. I mean, it's been mentioned multiple times how they had match point against Penn State in the semifinals. They were in the title game and got beat down by Texas 2 years ago. And I think, I first really noticed that there was a buy-in when we were asking them about captain position too. Rebecca Alec, who I remember talking to her freshman year saying, I want to be a captain. She's like, it's just an honor. It's just a title. It doesn't really matter. Something on the locker. What we're after is that too. And we talked to Ali Czech a couple weeks ago, and I think we asked her the same question in 4 different ways too. What does it mean? You're a senior year, you're an all conference player, you're coming off the bench and playing so little. How do you do it? So but Allie, credit to her, is saying the right things to us. And
I think about her a ton, right?
Yeah.
Because she broke out at the beginning of the year, right? At the AVCA in Lincoln, you're like, oh, all right, well, she's going to be the one here. We haven't seen a lot of her. It's been Adriana,
Yeah,
so,
which I feel bad for her. I mean, her recruitment was a disaster because she went and visited Oregon, their coach left, visited Kansas, their coach left, committed to Nebraska, their coach left, and then Nebraska eventually. Well, I assume Nebraska told her that they were working on another opposite from Italy at that point too, but commits to Nebraska a couple months later, and I don't know if this is what she signed up for, but she's
a great example.
Handling it like a champ. So,
sportsmanship MVP of the year, Allie Jack.
There is that sportsmanship award that the Big Ten gives out as well.
She is my nominee.
Nate Pullen, write that down, send it in. Great. So we've talked a little bit about that. I mean, but speaking of awards, I had a question on here too. I mean, this week we kind of learned it was in the manual from I don't know when the manuals came out, but the AVC will be awarding positional awards in addition to the Player of the Year and All-Americans. What do you two think about that too? I mean, is it a good thing? Is it on your radar? What's your reaction to hearing that news?
The only thing that I care about with it is that it's actually going to give some love to positions that get overlooked, like libero, and for some teams, middle.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's going to be a big difference in actually highlighting people that do a lot of the grunt work, but don't get a lot of the glory.
Yeah. For as much as we complain about justice for liberos, there were 2 libero All-American first teamers last year. There was only 1 middle blocker on the first team last year. One Miss Andy Jackson, but I mean, Jack, is that a blip on your radar, these positional awards too, or do you think?
Well, I just always wonder. Like, I will look at I'll check the stats every week to prep for my interviews and those sort. I remember looking at the hitting percentage stats last year, and just the kill stats generally. This is probably about 2/3 of the way through the year, and I remember seeing Andy Jackson's number last year, and it was just like obscene, right, in terms of her hitting percentage. And I always kind of wondered, I'm like, and it was kind of the same thing with Alec for a while this year. Like, at what point do you start talking about a middle, right? In terms of being that type of play, it's it's kind of like the F word quarterback. The Heisman is always going to go to the quarterback on the best team, right?
Yeah.
Like, at what point are you
except for last year,
right? Yeah, like at a middle. I mean, same thing probably for a set, but I feel like even setters get more credit on those sorts of things than a middle.
Yeah, I mean, you saw kind of the aberration that was Lexi Rodriguez last year, who was a finalist,
and that's why I don't say that position. I probably go toward middles as the one that gets forgotten in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, so I think that Nebraska has a couple chances to. To me, I think the obvious people that may benefit from this are Andy Jackson is the middle block of the year. I think Bergen Riley, we've talked about for play of the year. I think she'll be a front runner for that. But the last time, I mean, the last 3 years have been dominated by pin hitters. But Dana Redkey, middle blocker, won the AVCA Player of the Year in fall of 2021, and Madison Lilly was a setter, won it for Kentucky when she led Kentucky to the national title. Before in that spring season as well too. So before that, you go back to Micah Hancock back in 2014. So it's been a while, but it's I think the style that volleyball is now, you're very pin heavy. You look at the All-American teams, there'll be 18 people on the first team and 12.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Yeah, it's a first team.
The Big Ten is worse though.
Yeah. Yeah, they're done. So
it's hard too, because you look at, as somebody who's again trying to learn about the sport, I'll go to stats, right? I'll try and look at stats a lot from the nation, and it's just you've got all these gaudy stats from someone who plays for Illinois, Chicago, or Sacramento State, right?
Yeah.
Like they're
James Madison. The kill lead is from James Madison.
Yes, though, yeah. And so it's a little bit hard to know, right? It feels like the competition level is even more profound in volleyball in terms of impacting that than a whole bunch of other sports.
That's the hard part. Everyone thinks that their outside hitter who's averaging whatever 2.5, 3 kills per set deserves to be in no, that's everything. That's the baseline. So we wanted to change up, ask a few more questions before we move on. But what do you all see as the biggest challenge for Nebraska during the final month, where it's November now, what the regular season ends this month? Amie, what do you see as the biggest challenge for Nebraska during this month?
This is where, and the same is true in football too, this is where you get tired.
Mm-hmm.
This is the lull, right? You have that a little bit in October too, but like this is the lull. So you can't allow complacency to creep in. I do think that there are very good teams still left on Nebraska's schedule, and then one very not good team.
Ohio State.
Yes. Left on the schedule. Gosh, what a weird juxtaposition Black Friday weekend is going to be. Anyway. And so yes, they have their eye on the prize, but they don't want to let up either.
Yeah.
And so I worried about it in the first set today. I was like, oh, is Nebraska going to lose a set? They didn't, obviously, but you wondered.
Yeah. Yeah. And Jack, you and I were talking about this before we started recording too. Just, can Nebraska have the Big Ten title wrapped up by the middle of the month, at least?
They got to, I think as it stands now, they've got to lose Purdue's 10-2, but Nebraska, well, they can, I guess they just do straight up ties in volleyball, but Purdue would have to go unbeaten. Nebraska would have to lose 2, right now. Mm-hmm. And that is going to change, by the way, right? Purdue will eventually probably lose. So, at some point they'll probably, they play Penn State, I think, next. So we'll see. If they do that, then that'll be another game on top of that. I don't know. I don't have the word. Honestly, if you ask me my concern about November, stay healthy. Mm-hmm. That's it. I remember, what was it? Was it Kenzie Maloney? Kenzie Maloney?
No, Kenzie Knuckles.
Kenzie Knuckles. Kenzie Knuckles, right?
Things were going so well.
That changed everything that year, right? Mm-hmm. Stay healthy. For better, right or wrong, I'm not super. At some point, it's hard to say, I'm really concerned they're going to be able to stay focused because on beating, these teams that they've just done it, right? They have absolutely passed the test. It's hard for me to be worried about that, to be honest.
For sure. I think we saw a little bit what Amie was talking about this past weekend too, with all the chaos. I think some teams are getting complacent. There are tough matchups that are going on, but some of these matches are why are you losing to unranked teams? It's complacency.
And to the degree that someone in Nebraska was kind of a not great set that they won against Oregon is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's very different.
Yeah. We mentioned Nebraska has a 2-game lead on the Big Ten. Nebraska, in fact, has a 2-game lead on the entire NCAA at this point. There's no teams with 1 loss left in the in the country after this weekend. Nebraska has 0. Everyone else, a lot of teams have 2 losses. So that's going to be the challenge, I think. But I think, that's the one thing that, again, I feel like there's only so many ways you can talk about a sweep or ask about a sweep too. But they've mentioned how hungry they are and focused they are. So
I believe it.
Yeah,
I believe it.
It's been fun too. So all right, Amie, I think that's all the questions I have for you. Amie doing some great work. She dropped a huge piece today about the Hoiberg family. It's great. I haven't a chance to sit down and read it, but it's on my list to do tonight. Amie, anything else? 3,600 words. That's it.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, I've written 17,000 words this week. Cut me a break. Okay.
Charlie Hoiberg's my LinkedIn friend, or he asked to connect with me. Just to clarify, I don't know if he said anything about that, but that's
I can't recall asking him.
Yeah, it's his request. It's great. We're both. I watched him play high school, right, at Pius, and it's awesome. And I think he's getting ready to go to law school, right? He went to TCU, right?
So read the story.
Yeah.
Read the story.
I will. I mean, I will. I'm going to.
So,
All right. No spoilers.
I'm glad that I did it. I was really tired this week with everything going on, but I'm glad it's done and I can focus on my next big feature. But before I go, I have one question and for you guys. Are you getting bored yet?
Never. Enjoy the journey. It's challenge on me as a writer and reporter to find new ways to write about another sweep.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I am. Like I set up like Amie, you've been at my Halloween party before. You were working that night, but I set up the whole fire, right? I put the match on the garage and I'm like, here we go. Big rivalry match. And then by about the second set, it was just my daughter and me out there. Nobody, it was just I know how this ends and I'm happy about it. I'm very very happy about it, but it's not exactly titillating,
What are you talking about? This is fun. This is exciting.
I know it's the dumbest thing to complain about. I get it. Like,
stop complaining.
It's just, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I want. I know. Why
do you want to make it hard on yourself? Why?
I don't know.
Be happy.
Sorry.
Enjoy the groin kick, less watching.
I apologize. You're right. Yes, there's none of that. I had the volleyball game on one TV and the red zone on the other TV today, and I kept going back to red zone because at one point I realized there was kind of the drama in the first set, and then at some point I realized I was like, okay. But then I realized I had to do this podcast, so I was like, I need to watch this.
Lock in.
Yes.
That's why they are giving fans the little glow sticks and they playing music.
The red glows. I would want to be on the white glow stick side. It's way better. The red glow things don't even show up. The white ones are way better. That's my take.
Yeah, that's facts. But yeah, no, this is fun. It's supposed to be fun. Winning is fun.
Kind of ready for the tournament, Amie.
Winning is fun.
It will be then too. I mean, even more.
The one negative thing that I've kind of heard too is the winning is so much that people are setting themselves up for disappointment in case something is wrong in the tournament too. I think I talked about this on the podcast a couple weeks ago that it just don't worry about that. Enjoy the winning now. And
I mean, it is like at some point could they get into the tournament and be like, man, they like seriously, could they get in the tournament and have still not lost a set?
Maybe.
I mean, could we be in mid-December and they still haven't lost a set? And how will they react to kind of a situation where it's a little tight? I don't know. I'm not really worried about any of it though. I don't know.
So
we'll see.
Well, thank you, Amie, for joining us
again.
Thank you, Amie. All of her coverage, the Lincoln Journal Star, she hosts a podcast, The Showdown, right?
Yeah, yep. Showdown with Sam McEwen of the Omaha World Herald and Life in the Red with Luke Millen, but that's mostly football focused.
Yes. So, but thank you for joining us. Be sure to read Amie's stuff and enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy your yoga blissed night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amie. All right. There you go.
All right. All right. Two-man show. We already at 50 minutes right now. So
dude, I know. I was like, am I talking more than Jeff does? What's happening? What's going on? We're going to be very long.
That's great. This is what happens when you have a three-person show. You have three opinions that we need to get out there.
Right,
we're going to go through. We're going to move on to rotation 4. We're going to go through this fairly quickly. We're not going to get too much in the weeds.
Go ahead. Because you tell me on this one. Yeah.
Because there's just so much chaos. I mean, I think this goes back to what we were talking about too. The complacency set in. Also, there was a lot of really good matchups. A lot of ranked versus ranked matchup. I think the one we'll start with everyone's favorite second team, Texas. They had their toughest test, I think, of the season. They played their rival Texas A&M on Friday night. Texas suffers its first loss of the season as a 5-setter. It was exciting. I kind of was watching this on my stats iPad while I was in the field house paying somewhat attention to, but also doing my job. It was a great match too. I don't know if you had a chance to watch any of it, Jack, or you had your second screen.
My daughter was updating me. She was watching it on her phone or something. Yes.
I think it's Nebraska's second favorite team is whoever's playing Texas. I believe the kids call that being rent free. Whatever.
That's my daughter. That's my daughter's second favorite team. I promise you that.
Whoever's playing Texas.
Yes.
Yeah, but Kendall Stowers led the Aggies. She's a transfer that joins them. 22 kills from her. Afana Apkala had 15 kills and 9 blocks, and Logan Legnicki had 12 kills. Texas A&M had 310 for that. Tori Stafford led the Longhorns, 24 kills. They hit 329. So it wasn't like Texas played bad. It was just a lot of offense in this match as well, too. So that started Texas' weekend of no goodness on Friday. Then on Sunday, I think maybe one of the matches of the year, but for at least you circle on the calendar, Kentucky, number 3, came in facing Texas. And this was, the showdown of attackers. Texas has Tori Stafford, who's one of the better outside hitters. They got a couple freshmen, Kari Spears and Abby Vanderwall, but it was Eva Hudson and Brooklyn DeLay who put on a show. They completely obliterated Texas. The first set was 15-14. The next two end up going to bonus points, 28-26 and then 27-25. Eva Hudson, she put up 20 kills, hit 452. And then Brooklyn DeLay also above 400, hit 417, hit 18 kills. As a team, all of Kentucky hit 353. So, both their outside pin hitters are hitting above 400. That's a recipe that's going to be.
And was this in Austin?
Yes. Yeah, it was in Gregory Gym. So it was.
Wow.
It got quite quick there, too. Stafford had 15 kills. Kari Spears had 13. Texas hit 248. So that's going to – I haven't done my ballot for the 900 square feet media poll yet, but I feel like I feel like I have to put Kentucky number 2, but that's just impressive performance by them as well. So that wasn't the number 2 team of the nation loses twice. That wasn't the only chaos going on. Missouri beat number 16 Tennessee on Friday night, but then Vanderbilt turns around and beats Missouri on Sunday too. And then Tennessee, they went 0-2 as well this weekend. They lost to Texas A&M. That was in Knoxville, that match. And then the other wacky, wild matchup, South Carolina, who entered the match 8-13 on the year, 2-9 in the SEC, knocked off number 25 Florida 3-1 too. Florida, they hit 250. They missed 15 serves and were outblocked by the Gamecocks. So here's your standings in the SEC going into after this weekend. Kentucky's in first place at 11-0. Texas A&M is 11-1.
Wow.
And Texas is third.
They're third in their conference.
Yeah. After one weekend.
Well, we can get. I'll let you go through there. I have questions for you, but
go ahead.
Maybe you should go through it. At what point is Texas in danger of being getting either the 4 seed or not even being a top 4 seed? Are we close to that yet or not? We got a lot more to go to.
To me, Texas is still a top 4 seed. That they have enough wins and were dominant enough during the early season that the Kentucky loss is not a bad loss. And neither of these are bad losses on their resume.
No.
Other teams have bad losses. Texas A&M lost a couple matches. They lost. I don't have it in front of me. TCU, maybe one of the other Texas schools as well. So I think that it's Texas will drop down to 2-3 maybe.
I know, but man, they lose one more. All of a sudden, Nebraska could be seeing them in the semifinals instead of the finals.
Yeah, and also we should mention that Kentucky and Texas could play again because there is an SEC tournament that will happen the last weekend in November. So we may get that matchup coming again in Savannah, Georgia, of all places. So that's the SEC.
And it depends on the other conferences, which you're going to hit on here.
Yeah. Well, so I think speaking of the other team that may push Texas A&M down, Pitt had a battle today against North Carolina, 21st ranked North Carolina. Pitt ends up surviving that 17-15 in the 5th set. They led most of that 5th set, but Carolina came back, tied it up 15-15 before that. I didn't get a chance to watch because this was during the Nebraska match. So I didn't get a chance to watch it, but there was apparently some referee shenanigans of calls not being made. I don't know what exactly, but Pitt people were not happy, but they got the win. So Olivia Babcock, 45 kills. She is
Good Lord.
Freaking machine. She had
84 swings.
Yeah.
That's
So,
like that gal from Milford in the high school tournament that I saw the
Shayla
other night.
Rotberger, get to know that name very well.
I mean, I saw her amount of kills and swings, and I thought it was insane. But it's actually Babcock isn't far from that. I don't think.
I think the Nebraska coaching staff knows the driving route to Milford very well. And also, she was actually in the building today because of all places. Her mother, for the former Lisa Reitzma, was the honored to the Nebraska Athletics Hall of Fame. So Shayla got to watch Nebraska play.
Lisa follows me on Twitter or Facebook or something.
Yes, she's great.
Charlie Hoiberg following me on LinkedIn. Yes,
I actually talked to her. I'll have a story on Monday.
All right.
You can check that out about the Hall of Fame induction as well too. But back to the ACC a little bit. I mean, yeah, Babcock had 45 kills. The rest of the Panthers, not named Olivia Babcock, finished with 32 kills on 93 attacks. So
they're just way too one-sided. It's not going to work in the tournament, in my opinion.
But
she's not going to work in the tournament for
reigning player of the year. I think she's one of the favorites for player of the year.
She's incredible. Of course she is, but it just doesn't seem like I don't know. They feel like a potential upset victim.
Yeah. Well, you one bad match from her. They have other talent, but yeah, we'll see with that. This was North Carolina team. They made quite the name for themselves on Friday night too. They beat number 7 SMU, another 5-setter, 15-13 in the set. North Carolina really dominated that fifth set. They had 9 kills on 22 swings without an error in that fifth set. Safi Hampton, she had 22 kills. She also put up, she had 14 against Pitt, but she had a very good weekend too. Malaya Jones, she led SMU with 27 kills. So there's there's 6 teams that are all very good in the ACC too, but Stanford and Pitt tied at 11-1. Then tied for third place, you have Louisville and North Carolina 10-2, and then SMU and Miami are both 9-3. So it's chaos. But I think Louisville closes with Pitt and Stanford, I think, that last weekend. So there's still a lot left in the ACC as well. So we're talking about all this crazy stuff happening in the country, and we haven't talked about the wildest conference of all of them, the Big 12. The Big 12 is known for their chaos every week, not just on special Halloween jinxes.
Right.
But so, I mean, Iowa State
Iowa State got the big win, right? Yeah.
They have 2 ranked wins after this weekend. They knocked off number 6 Arizona State last Wednesday, I think that was, or last week. I forget what day it was, but they beat number 6 Arizona State. And also they swept Baylor as well in straight sets as well too. I mean, no Iowa State player got double-digit figures, but they're just a very balanced. And I think their libero is really Rachel Van Gorp is her name too. She's one of the best in the country too. And hopefully, I mean, the better Iowa State does, the more attention that she gets for her high level of play. So, but that was, yeah.
Is Christy Johnson still there?
No, she's there too. She kind of a little, so it's good to see her she's built Iowa State into a good program too.
She's been there a long time. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, had John Cook retired 10 years ago, I think
that's what I was.
Christy Johnson Lynch would have been the favorite, but she kind of dipped a little bit, but the Cyclones are back. So as good a week as Iowa State had, TCU had the opposite week. They lost to Arizona, and then also lost in 4 sets to Arizona State as well too. So it was just a rough week for the Horned Frogs, who I think they're ranked like 12th or 13th in the nation as well. And then the other kind of big other shocker in the Big 12, Central Florida, right, knocked off number 17 BYU in Provo of all places. So Avaya Armour put up 25 kills and hit 449 for the Golden Knights, which the BYU only hit 112 in the match, and BYU and Central Florida was above 300. So
I miss Texas being in the Big 12 because it always felt like BYU would beat Texas sometime in November, October or November, always during the year. But wow, that's a big one there.
Yeah. Baylor also had a rough week, going 0-2. Colorado beat Baylor 3-1. So here's kind of your stand-ins in the Big 12. Colorado, first place, 10-1. Arizona State is a half game back at 9-1. And then Iowa State and Kansas are 2.5 games back at 8-3 of that. So It's the Big 12. It's wild. It's wild. So,
All right.
last thing I want to talk about a little bit. Creighton, they've been dominating the Big East. They got pushed to 5 sets by Marquette. They were down 2-1, won the 4th set, took the 5th, 15-10. Ava Martin, 30 kills, hit 464 on the week as well. Jayla Johnson, Abby Hayes had 13 kills. So Creighton hit 370 for the match, which is amazing when you figure you drop 2 sets that you're still hitting 372. Anna Mader had 59 assists for the Blue Jays as well too. So Creighton chugging along. They've dropped a couple sets. That's the second and third set that they've dropped in Big East play, but it's still their conference to lose, I think, at this point. All right, Jack, we're going to go to our Supernova Shining Star of the Week. Do you I mean, after everyone we kind of talked about, who do you want to give your Shining Star of the Week to? Anyone?
My Shining Star of the Week. I mean, I watched primarily Nebraska. When you gave me those Olivia Babcock stats, though, it's hard to sort of go away from them. But I mean, listen, since I focused on Nebraska, I will go mine on Taylor Landfair, because we talked about, her numbers against Oregon, but they were pretty efficient against Wisconsin too. And like I said earlier in the show when Amie was here, it's just like, man, if she's gonna be able to do that offensively, it takes Nebraska even to another level, to be honest, because she hasn't done that consistently.
Nice. I like it. So Taylor Landfair gets a Shining Star. I debated. There's 2 players. We've talked about them both. I'm going to give it to Kendall Stowers. Big week for Texas A&M. 22 kills against Texas, and she hit 400 there, and then added 16 kills against Tennessee, who's ranked as well. Also, we'll give a third out. We'll give Jeff Sheldon. Jeff Sheldon will give his to Olivia Babcock in absence. 45 kills. That's a Pitt program record. You get 45 kills, you get an automatic gold star. Shining star for her. So we'll give 3 Shining Stars out this week. So with legendary coach John Cook now serving as general manager, plus former Husker star Merritt Beeson, as well as Brooke Nunaville on the roster, this is a season that you do not want to miss. In fact, the Supernovas just unveiled their schedule on Friday. So you go out there, figure out your plans. They got a lot of weekend. Every single match is going to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So a lot of weekend nights spent at CHI Health Center. Start making plans now. You do not want to miss out. So it's the best atmosphere. They averaged 11,000 fans last year. So crazy. All professional. They got 14 home matches from January to the first week in May. The CHI Health Center. So cheer on the Supernovas as they chase another championship. Don't wait. Grab your season tickets now at supernovas.com.
All
right. We got one conference we haven't talked about. We'll go pretty quick through this one as well, too. Rotation 5, we are going to the Big Ten. This, to me, speaking of teams that did not have a good week, Penn State went 0 for 2 on the weekend.
Oh, man.
First one is a little bit more shocking. They are losing to number 19. They're losing to Michigan, who is unranked, 15-12. In the 5th set too. Element Michigan had 18 kills, 11 digs. Allison Jacobs had 18 kills. And this Penn State folded a bit in that. I mean, they scored 12 points, but they hit negative in the 5th set with just 3 kills and 5 errors. Speaking of one horse shows, Kenny Martin had 27 kills, hit 203 for Nittany Lions. But that was the start of it. And then on Sunday, number 24 Indiana swept Penn State at Rec Hall, 25-22, 25-15, 25-23 in the 3rd set. So this was actually the first time that Indiana has ever swept Penn State. They'd beat them before too, but never in straight sets. And this also a very emotional win for Steve Aird, the Indiana head coach. He was an assistant coach there for a while under Russ Rose. First time he's ever personally beaten Penn State. So he got a little choked up in the post game press conference. So a really cool win for them. And I think, like you said, Indiana, they're fighting up there. They're making some noise.
I mean,
in the Big Ten.
That's the most interesting match left on the schedule, right? For Nebraska on the road at obviously Penn State coming here, but to be honest, it's Indiana, right, on the road.
Yeah, I think, yeah. I mean, and I think it'll be interesting to see what the demographics are for that game too, because Nebraska fans travel well wherever. And that's, I think, I can't remember how big that arena is, but Nebraska has hosted, the record there last time they were there. I'm looking this up very
Wilkinson
quickly.
Hall. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's a 5:00 in the afternoon match for Nebraska on a
Yeah.
Saturday, November 22nd. So, which I
It's
believe
just,
is they have the Penn State football game, I think. Yeah.
yeah, it's just over it's right around 3,000 people. Nebraska is one of the few places in Nebraska does not have the attendance record. Purdue has it. They sent that last year with 2,800 people there too. So if and it'd be interested to see how big of push it's a sold out at this point, but it's what the demographics are if Nebraska people snatch it up, because then Indiana was expected to be good, but they're living up to it, which is fun to see as well. Couple other matches of note. USC is ranked 22, beat Minnesota 15-12. This was in Minneapolis. London Weege finished with 25 kills. And this one, Nebraska will see they have a trip out to LA too. That to me is also
That'd be the other one. Those two maybe, or maybe even more so than Penn State. Yeah.
Those matches in LA are going to be home matches.
Really?
There are going to be so many Nebraska fans out there for those that it is going to be red. You'll be hard pressed to find any, especially Bruin fans that are. But USC, I think they have general admission seating, so it's going to be a wild atmosphere, I think. But I think USC is a good program. They got a good road win. They also swept UCLA this past week, 23-20. The team that's chasing Nebraska is number 10 Purdue. They had to go 5 sets at Michigan today at the Cliff King Arena. They didn't play at their Chrysler Center, but they played in the small, tiny old gym. They won the final 3 sets. They got lost the first 2, then 25-19, 25-20, 15-10. Elkhorn North graduate Grace Heaney, she had 19 kills for the Boilermakers, and Kenna Willard added 16.
Everybody's got one. Everybody's got a Nebraskan.
Everyone's got a Nebraska. There's the token
Nebraskan on every team.
I think Indiana, I don't think does. Penn State does, because they got Jordan Hopp, who's from Alliance. USC has a couple of them out there. They got Mia Taverdi, who plays middle blockers.
Right.
So everyone does. But all right, last match here. Wanted to mention about the Big Ten. Now, more kind of another historic one, but not in the good history type of way. Rutgers swept Ohio State. The team does not have a Big Ten win. 17, 17, 19 were all the points that Ohio State can muster. This is the first time that Rutgers has ever beaten Ohio State. They were 0-18 coming in too. And it's the first time ever that Rutgers has held in a Big Ten opponent under 20 points in each of the set that they've played. So
that's wild. Wow.
Yeah,
was really quick, wasn't it? My goodness, man.
Ohio State.
They had Pedraza still 2022. Like,
yeah.
When they were solid that year, right?
Yeah, they were Elite Eight, made it there, but then they lost that. They had kind of exodus that year when all their 5th-year seniors went elsewhere and dispersed across the country. Pedraza went to Penn State, and Emily Londot was about the last holdover, and she played there last year, but they lost. We mentioned Grace Egan, Emily Selman, who's transferred. A couple other people left, and the cupboard is bare at Ohio State. It's going to be a tough final month of the season for Jen Flynn Oldenburg. We'll see what happens to her. But she's a great coach, president of the AVCA, so her peers respect her. But if they don't get a win or two, I don't know. Something's going to have to change, whether it be a staff or if she's shown the door, but we'll find out.
Super quick aside, Mac Pedraza, great on TV.
Oh, yeah.
So, to just jump in, I'm so impressed with her. And lots of athletes, to be honest, but she sticks out to me. She has been so good when I've watched her on studio shows and on a call of games.
Definitely. She was calling. She called that Penn State Indiana game today as well too. So it's good that the other speaking of announcers, fun tidbit. I was getting deep into my volleyball sickos. I was watching Washington and UCLA play on Big Ten Plus. I'm listening to him like, this voice sounds familiar. Is this Sarah Pavin? Looked it up on the UCLA website. Sarah Pavin was doing color commentary for the UCLA match. Yeah, UCLA. And
speaking of guest color commentary, did you hear John Cook on KLIN on Halloween night with John Baylor?
I was at Madison, so unfortunately I did not listen to it, but I did listen to his post game interview with Danny afterwards, given Halloween updates. But sorry, I was into there, so I'm not able to.
That's
listen
all right.
to radio.
That's totally fine. I just wanted to make sure people knew that.
Yeah.
Baylor told me about that like 2 months ago. Like, so they had because I believe Lauren's want to be able to trick or treat with their kids. So Grandpa helped out with that.
Yes. So, yeah, listen to KLIN, the radio, good radio station, right? Yeah, excellent. All right, we'll close up rotation 5. We're going to move to rotation 6, and this segment is brought to you by Jiv Athletics. For you parents or of players or players yourself looking for a perfect layer underneath your spandex, Jiv Athletics makes high-performance underwear engineered specifically for volleyball players. This year, InStyle magazine named Jiv as one of the best work on underwear brands in that category. They're endorsed and worn by U.S. Olympic gold medal and silver medalist Micah Hancock, the second mentioned this episode. So you know that they're built for the athletes at the highest level. Made without PFAS or harmful forever characters, Jiv's fabrics are breathable, moisture wicking, and designed to give women true comfort and confidence under spandex. So try them today and feel the difference. Use the code VSP15. That's Volleyball State Podcast, VSP15 for 15% at jivathletics.com.
Hi, I'm Mike.
You want to go with that there?
We'll do it between. We're going to talk about Illinois first. So, all right.
Oh,
so
there we go. All right. Sorry, I wasn't.
Illinois is 12-5, and they are playing a Thursday night matchup. 12-9, 7-5 in the Big Ten. They're at the Devaney Center, John Cook Arena, 7 p.m. FS1. Nebraska's old friend Chris Thomas is the coach at the Illini. They're in a bit of a funk right now. Illinois, the Illini they're in second place. They were the team that was on Nebraska's tail just a couple weeks ago too, but they have lost 4 in a row.
7-5. Yeah.
They lost to Purdue, who Illinois actually beat Purdue earlier this year too, but they lost the return match. Lost to Purdue, Michigan, Minnesota, and then maybe another shocker. We didn't talk about this earlier, but Illinois lost to Iowa in the 5th set. So, I mean, this is a little bit better team, but Iowa is still not a team that if Illinois wants to be in the top half of the league.
There was one point Illinois felt like there was kind of just a clump, like Illinois, Indiana, Penn State, Wisconsin, Purdue.
Yeah.
Even when you looked at the AVCA poll, they were all within about 8 spots of each other. And you're like, I don't know who the number 2 is going to be in that group. Illinois was part of it at one point.
Not Illinois any longer, too. So, I mean, they got a tough week. So they visit Nebraska on Thursday night. And they go to they play Madison, or they play Penn State on Sunday too. So another one of those teams. But they're led by Taylor DeBoer, who's averaging just over 4 kills in Big Ten play. She's tied in conference play with Julia Hansen. Freshman Alyssa Aguayo is averaging 2.83 kills per set too. They had freshman Aubrey Tompkinson, who didn't play her first 2 years at Texas, but it's kind of found a spot in the opposite. She's a big physical presence on the right pin, 6'5", averaging 2.21 kills per set, but hitting 202. And then Ashlyn Philpott, she's hitting 208. She's middle blocker. This Illinois team is just they're not elite. I mean, they're hitting 228, which is 16th in the Big Ten, and then opponents are hitting 244, which is 17th in the Big Ten. So the stats are proving or catching up with their record. I should say their record's catching up with their stats too, and that's what happens when you lose 4 games in a row too. So I don't know, Jack. Do you have any thoughts about Illinois or what?
No, I mean, I haven't seen them. That was the big thing. It was kind of, I put them in that group with Purdue, Indiana, Wisconsin, Penn State, maybe even Minnesota at one point, but now at 7-5, and they're one of these weird teams too. Like you look at their home versus away, they're better. They're 5-2 away in conference and 2-3 at home. Right. Mm-hmm. It's so that's an odd thing. So, it's a match where it maybe this will be the one that gets interesting. It could be like they're all with the exception of, if you're looking at Nebraska's matches and be like, hey, which one is going to be the interesting one? Because it feels like there will absolutely be an interesting one. With the exception of Ohio State and Iowa, I think all of them have about an equal chance of being that, don't you?
Yeah, to me, I think it's more about Nebraska than the opponent.
Agreed.
Really,
Agreed.
I
Agreed.
think the match will be interesting because Nebraska loses focus or
Agreed.
doesn't play up there. I mean, every team's giving Nebraska's best shot. So we'll see what Illinois. It's an FS1 match Thursday night. All right, we will talk about Nebraska's other opponent, Minnesota, right after we take a quick break.
Hi, I'm Mikey Hancock, two-time Olympian from Edmond, Oklahoma. Confidence means everything. For me, it comes from within. As an elite athlete, you look for external validation way too much. I've worked really hard to attain that and not seek external validation. JIV makes me feel confident because I don't have to worry about the functionality of my undergarment. At the Paris Olympics, I was so happy that JIV was the layer beneath it all, whether I was gallivanting the city or playing in the Olympic Games. Instead of adjusting what I'm wearing, the functionality of it helps me lock in and be in the moment. That's why I choose JIV, not just for game day, but for every day.
All right, we are back for our final opponent, Nebraska and Minnesota. They play Saturday at 2:30 p.m. Minnesota enters the week 17-6, 7-5. They have a big match against Wisconsin at Wisconsin on Wednesday, so they won't be looking ahead to Nebraska at all. They got to take care of business against the Badgers midweek, but then this match will be Saturday afternoon on Peacock. So, Jack, do you get Peacock?
I do.
You're ready for this. This was supposed to be when they announced the schedule in, was it late July, that this was supposed to be an NBC.
Yeah, I remember that too. Yeah.
At some point it got bumped. I don't know for what reasons. I checked the listings. There's Premier League soccer that's going on. So I think it's Tottenham, Chelsea, or no, that's the Wolves. The Wolves versus one of those two teams. I think Tottenham maybe. So for some reason they're going with Premier League soccer instead of Nebraska volleyball. So
yeah, it's interesting they've got Wisconsin this week too, just because, if you put yourself in their shoes, right, instead of Nebraska's, you're thinking about seeding right now, right? You're thinking about Big Ten standing. I mean, these are huge. That Wisconsin match is huge, and obviously everybody would love to get a shot at Nebraska and win. But right now, like, you're looking at seedings and home, who you're going to be playing in the first round, I would think.
Yeah, and Minnesota is kind of on that. I don't know if anybody wants to host those, like 14th, 15th, 16th overall seed get to host the first, second weekend. Minnesota, if they make a run in the month of November, could be one of those teams. But we've talked about this a lot this fall. Minnesota has been absolutely decimated by injuries too. They lost outside hitter McKenna Wooker before the season started. She decided that she was going to redshirt. She's been dealing with lingering back issues, so just called it off before the season began. Their libero was out early in the season in August, early September, I should say. She was ruled out too. Then on September 17th, the middle blocker, Kalissa Minity, she was out with also a knee injury too. And then October 8th was the last blow. Another outside hitter, Alex Acevedo, was ruled out with another injury as well too. So it's down 4 starters, but Minnesota's still very respectable. They suffered some losses. They lost on the road to Michigan, UCLA, and Oregon, I think, as they were trying to figure out their identity, putting some new younger players in the mix to figure out kind of how they're going to deal with all these injuries too. But they've really kind of steadied the ship a little bit. And they're really kind of, again, like you said, in that mix of they should make the postseason like things go badly because of 2 main reasons why they're in that position. Outside hitter Julia Hansen, she's averaging 4.1 kills per set, hitting 303, and then Stella Swenson, I think, has been one of the better freshman setters in the league for sure. She's on the long list of, there's so many quality freshmen in the league too. It's Stella Swenson. She's a red shirt as well as too, but. Speaking of freshmen, the other 2 players that have kind of been pressed into action too. Freshman Carly Gilk playing outside hitter. She's hitting average 2.2 kills per set, but she had 9 aces against USC in that match. It's a 5-setter, but still 9 aces is just ridiculous in any match. So she's doing really well. And then Kelly Kinney is also another freshman outside hitter. She's averaging 2.1 kills per set too. Those are the 2 players that have really kind of been forced into action a little bit with the injuries and kind of struggles. But so those are the Gophers. I think it'll be at Minnesota. I'll be there in person. I'm going to a Vikings game on Sunday, so I made a weekend.
Nice.
We're going to watch, going to cover and watch the Huskers against the Gophers.
Very nice. Yeah. Hey, look, that'll be they do have, you mentioned it, UCLA swept them in Minneapolis, USC beat them there as well, but there's been plenty of Very well. That could be the one. Again, there's going to be one, Lincoln.
Yeah.
I don't know when it is, but maybe that's got the potential to be it. Right.
For sure. Yeah. So that's our episode for this week. Jeff and I, we should be back. I haven't talked to Jeff. I'm letting him have the weekend off. We probably should have a show Thursday night. Check our socials. That we'll announce that for sure. But I'm planning on talking Thursday night after the Illinois match, and we'll be back next Sunday night at 7 p.m. Jeff will be back. He'll be ready to talk, ready to share all of his thoughts, and ready to probably give it a grade on how we did this week too. But
yeah, I hope I did okay.
Jack, I appreciate
thanks for everyone's patience with me.
Any final thoughts, or what do you enjoy about basketball? What are you looking forward to?
Man, I'm just, it's like it is. I sort of said a little tongue in cheek earlier, like it's boring, you know. And I do say that tongue in cheek. I do truly understand like how. Listen, I'm a fan of a lot of teams that aren't good. So to watch a team and be a fan of a team and have a daughter who is a huge team. I will say this, Lincoln. Let me leave you with this thought. I sat outside with my daughters, just the two of us, Halloween night, watching that Nebraska-Wisconsin match. It was very late. Trick-or-treaters were gone. I got the fire pit out there, and I kind of watched her watch that match and just take it in and everything. And I was like, wow. I was like crazy because 30 years ago this fall, as Nebraska Volleyball won the national championship that year too, but 30 years ago this fall, like this was me in football and maybe the best ever football team of all time. And I don't know if this team will go down as that with Nebraska Volleyball, but it's really cool to see her having to have that moment, because I know how that impacted me just like going forward as a fan. And there is a generation there of fans who are really, really buying into this. And like, you think like this program's got a lot of riches now, but they're going to have a lot of equity with some young fans too, which
for sure.
Cool.
We'll give a shout out to your daughter too. I saw her and she was in the stands at the Vanderbilt in Lipscomb in Tennessee.
In Lipscomb, yes.
Repping the Nebraska.
She was there, yes.
Volleyball
she was
sweatshirt.
Yeah.
So
she still complains about the Lipscomb student section to me. She was not a fan.
Yeah, but yeah. Hey, we appreciate her repping Volleyball State too, and hopefully you get some cool dad points for being on our show. So thanks again to our sponsors, Alumni Hall, the Supernovas, and JIV Athletics.
Yes.
If you want to follow all of our work we do, go to volleyballstate.com. We got a link tree to Jeff and I's work on Husker Max, all of our socials. Buy yourself, be like Jack's daughter, get a Volleyball State sweatshirt. Buy that on, we got a link to that on our volleyballstate.com. Email us at volleyballstate.gmail.com. Jack's got his mug right there. So thank you very much for listening, and we'll be back next week. And thank you for living in the Volleyball State.